My name is Jessica and I have no idea what I'm doing. Today I'm going to be testing out the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. Did I need this? Let's do it Blue's Clues style. Did I need this? That's right, I didn't. Anyway, I didn't need this, but I was actually inspired by the, can't get it open. I was actually inspired by the little one, the one that was like, I think 16 or 12 pans, but I wanted some other colors that were not in that one, such as this one, so now I have all of these. Also, I'm going to look on the back, and there are a certain number of them, whichever ones are yellow with the stars, that are pressed pigments and are not supposed to be used on the eyes. I'm going to use them anyway, but at least I'm reading the packaging before I do it this time. I'm going to start with, I think this one here. They have numbers for names. I'm just gonna point. I'm gonna start with this one here with my dollar store brush. Looks like it has decent pigment. And I'm going to use that to set my eyeshadow primer and create a base, as usual, from crease to brow bone. And as usual, when I start off, I prime one eye and not the other, just so we can see if there's a difference. And this one here is the eye that is primed. This one over here is not. Seems like a nice basic setting shade. Then I can't wait to use this one. I'm going to use this one here, this light lavender shade. We might actually have a winner here. I've been chasing down a shade like this for a while now, and I've not found one to my liking yet. This one is going to go on, well, it's going to go here. It's going to be my transition shade, hopefully. I mean, it's there. It's a little more gray than what I would want. I think the real test will be if I decide to use this packed on the lid one day, which I have a feeling I will. Okay, but that's not bad. I've had worse. You've seen me have worse, such as the one in the Too Faced White Chocolate Bar palette and the ones in the e.l.f. Bite Size palette, and I think there was one similar in the Earth and Ocean palette. Oh, did I tell you what brush this was? I don't even know what brush this is. My BH Cosmetics brush with A3 on it. Then I'm going to take this one here with my IBY crease brush. It's like a, maybe a muted plum rosewood kind of shade. And like, not just muted, but like lighter than what your typical plum is. I feel like they're very powdery. I feel like I basically lost that lavender shade. Next, I'm going to take my little BH Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it, and maybe I'll take this one over here. I think it's a matte black. Maybe. And I'm going to put that like really tight in my crease. And then I think I'm going back into that plum rosewood, whatever we want to call it, shade to kind of blend it out more. And then you know what? I'm going to take this brush again, the one with the 3 on it, and I'm going to go back into the lavender and see if I can work backwards and keep all the colors as much as possible. I feel like I made a mess. You know, I'm looking at this. All these shades in here, all these colors, and they couldn't give me a shimmery brow bone highlight. I mean, there's this one with like a few sparkles in it, but they couldn't give me a cream or a white or beige even. Maybe something kind of like this, but lighter. No hate to my neutral lovers out there, but come on, you don't need all these browns, do you? One of these could have been, at least one could have been a brow bone highlight, a shimmery one. Whatever, I'm gonna have to try to use this one. So I'm gonna use that with my dollar store brush, and the sparkles are probably gonna leave. And I'm probably gonna be sad. Trying to tap it on gently so that we can see the sparkles. All right, I see them. I don't know if you can see them. I can see them a little bit, but they're probably not gonna stay throughout the day. All right, now I'm gonna go for this purple down here. It's very pretty. It's a dark blue purple, I guess. Yeah, ooh, that's actually seemingly very pigmented. I'm gonna put that on the outer third of my eye. Ooh, I like that. This is a good one. Ooh, yes, I like this. Wow, look at that. It's still on my eye. I mean, my finger. Okay, seems like it's one of those where like a ton picks up on your finger and then you can't get the rest off onto your eye, but when you first dip in, you do get enough to go on your eye. Yeah, I like that. This one kind of reminds me of the Lime Crime Lid Light in Majestic, kind of. Let's see. Yeah, close. I would say this one's a little brighter, a little bluer. This one is muted, more muted and darker, and I would say more purple than this one is. And of course, that didn't work for me, and this hopefully will. Then I'm going to use this pretty green over here. It's like a shimmery, mossy olive kind of green. Yep, that like similar texture. And I'm gonna put that on the inner 2/3. And I'm gonna blend it into the purple the best I can with my finger, just like that. Just kind of gently tapping a little bit over it so I can like fade it in. I'm happy with that. These are kind of like, they're a little dry but a little emollient at the same time. I don't know how to explain that. But I'm hoping not so emollient that they will crease or wear away, you know what I mean? Ooh, I like it. Okay, next I'm going in with my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it. I think I'm gonna take this one down here. That's like almost like a khaki green taupe color. And I'm gonna put that across my lower lash line. And I also think I'm gonna pop a little bit of this purple. It's like a deep plum true purple matte. And I'm just gonna put that on the outer corner a little bit, or rather the outer third of my lower lash line, and blend that into the khaki-ish color. And I can't help myself. I have to have a little bit of this on the, maybe the inner third of my lower lash line. I just have to. Okay, so the lavender shade I want more from. I definitely want a shimmery brow bone highlight, but I love the 2 shimmers that I used. And I also like the mattes that I used on the lower lash line. The black and the like plummy rosewood shade, I mean, those just aren't my types of shades. There was nothing wrong with them. They're just not my color preference. So far, I am very happy. This could be a nice little like Halloween look, or if you're like me, an everyday look. All right, day 2 of using this palette. By the way, I just figured out the proper way to open this is to push this little thing down here. I promise this is the way to do it. You push that in and then it opens. Don't just try to open it. So I was happy with how yesterday's look wore, both with the primed eye and the not primed eye. I was happily surprised. The shimmers moved around like a tiny bit, and I would say they moved a tiny bit more on the non-primed side, but I was very impressed. I'm just setting my eyeshadow primer from crease to brow bone, dollar store brush, and this shade. There are just way too many shades in here to choose from. All right, I think I'm gonna go with this green here, this matte green. I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it, and that's gonna be my transition shade. This shade kind of reminds me of Cactus from the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette. It's a murky green, like a gray green. Just blending that out a little bit. Then I'm going to take my Ivy White crease brush, and I think I'm going to go with this purpley shade over here. I did use that one yesterday, a little bit on my lower lash line. Today it's going in the crease. Don't know how well it'll blend with the green, but we're going to try it. I think what I'm going to do is go in with my BH Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it. Try to pack the purple deeper in. And then work backwards like I did yesterday, going back with this brush with the 3 on it, and go back into the green and blend it out. That seems to be the best way to do this. Work backwards. I'm going to clean that off and then just blend it out a little more. That did not work out the best, but I think it was because I was trying to combine some colors that don't really blend. And I will say that you do have to build the mattes up. Then I think I still want some of that purple, and I'm going to put it on the outer third here. This is definitely going to be a murkier, smokier look than I planned. I don't know what I was expecting. Then I'm going to take this shade here, which people are describing as a blue. I think it's more of a green, like a greeny turquoise maybe. Same texture as those other shades, and I'm going to put that in the middle of my lid. Look how nice that is. And I'm just going to blend it into the purple as per usual. You know, just my little blending that I usually do. And then I'm going to use this shade here, which is a shimmery gray green. This one over here is definitely silver. This one over here is definitely green. See how this one's kind of a mix between the two? I'm going to put that on the inner corners, or rather the inner third, and just blend that in to the whatever color we want to call that. Uh-oh, time for another webinar, so guess this is what I got for now. Okay, so I'm back. I was away for about an hour on a webinar, and I just want to show you what's happening here. I think these shimmers that I used today are a little bit thinner in texture. Yeah, now that I look more closely, I feel like they're like glittery, shimmery, metallic particles quality is different than the ones that I used yesterday. Like these seem to have smaller particles maybe. And I feel like they're a little bit thinner consistency because it's been an hour. And I don't know if you can tell, but they have seemed to sheer out a little bit. Like, I don't want you to think there's no color on my lids anymore. There obviously is. But I feel like they've sheared out a little bit. Doesn't look bad. It's just something I noticed. Also, I don't know if you can see this like tiny little line here. It's actually not as visible on this eye, which is weird, but like a tiny bit of, I guess, creasing. But this is what happened yesterday, and I started getting nervous. But after that, which is not very noticeable, it didn't move anymore after that. So I'm assuming that the same thing is going to happen. To finish up, I am going to take this matte gray shade. Well, there's a couple matte gray shades. This one's a cooler gray. And I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it and use that on my lower lash line all the way across. I feel like this one has to be packed on. Yeah, it seems like these lighter mattes, that's what they really need. They need to be packed on. Then I'm going to take a little bit of this greeny teal matte and put that on the outer thirds and blend it inward. I feel like you could definitely make a nice monochromatic look with this bluish gray, the tealy color that I'm using now, and the shimmer that I used in the middle of my lid. And then I'm going to take a little bit of that greeny gray color again, and I'm going to put this on like the inner third of my lower lash line. This one's not going on as well with the brush. I feel like it's spreading more as opposed to the shades I used yesterday. So I think I'm going to take my finger instead and try to apply that. All right, so far mostly happy. Really the thing I'm not happy about is the green that I originally used. I wish that was more prominent, but maybe I shouldn't have put it with the purple. I will say the looks that I've been coming up with are a lot cooler toned than I thought they would be. I mean, I knew this had a lot of cool tones in it, oops, but they're even cooler than I thought they would be. So if you're not into cool tones, I'm thinking this isn't for you. There are definitely some warm tones in here, but I think you should judge that for yourself, whether there are enough for you if you're not typically a cool toned person or just aren't looking for those kinds of tones. Alright, so today I think I'm going to play with some of the warmer-ish tones. I'm thinking the pink, the gold, maybe this reddish shade. I'm going to start with my dollar store brush and set my eyeshadow primer with this shade here. And once again, yesterday's look wore well on both eyes, the one that was primed and the one it wasn't. And those glitters, the shimmery glittery shade, didn't move any more than they had that I showed you, so that's good. They're such an interesting texture. I don't know how many more looks I'm going to do with this palette. I would do a million of them. There really are just so many pretty shades, so many things I'm inspired to do, but I take too long in my videos. So next I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it and going into this like pinky salmon matte. And that's going to be my transition. If you guys want to see more looks though, somebody let me know. Even if it's one person, I'll put more looks up. Next, I'm going to take my IBY crease brush and go into this reddish brown here and put that in my crease. Also, maybe I would do a comparison video, because I have to say the more I look at this palette, the more like similar shades I see to shades in other palettes that I have, such as the Dominique Cosmetics Rustic Glam palette. I think I'm going to do a halo eye today, so next I'm going to go in with this deep brown here and put that on the outer and inner thirds of my eye. Also the new Too Faced palette, the Pumpkin Spice one, and the Emily Noel X Makeup Revolution The Wants palette. Maybe even some ABH stuff, like Soft Glam and Norvina. But that's what I'm seeing with all of this all together, like one big combination of those palettes. Then I'm going to take this brownie burgundy shimmer. This is that thinner texture again. And I'm going to put that on the more brown than burgundy. That's okay. I'm going to put that like here and here so that I leave the middle open for the gold. And of course, you know, using my little blending technique with my finger, where I kind of just rub the shades into one another and pat them. And then I'm going to take that bright gold here. This one is that thicker texture. And I'm going to put that right in the center. Wow. Look at that. And of course blend it, but wow. Very pretty. Then I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it, and I think I'm going to go into this shade here. It's like a mustardy yellow, almost orange. I'm going to put that across my lower lash line. Then, just for the sake of using another shade, I'm going to use this brown, and then I'm going to put this like tighter to my lower lash line. It's not working well. I should have gotten my other brush out. I was just too lazy. Oh well. So I'm going to take the gold again and just put a little bit of that in the center of my lower lash line, just to have the same halo vibe going on. And then I'm going to finish off with packing this shade on my brow bone again. That cream peach beige color with the few sparkles running through it. So nothing wrong with the quality, just, you know, not my usual kind of look, not really the colors I go for. But just goes to show you can make something warmer and more neutral from this palette. However, I think it is at least half cool toned. I think it's mostly cool toned. And I think it's at least half colorful, maybe mostly colorful, even though the colors are not, you know, not all of them are like this. Some of them are more muted, like this is a deeper green. That one is like a gray green. This one's like a, I don't know what that is, like a gray green again. Even this has like some green in it. Yeah, a lot of green in the palette actually. Alright, I can't help it. One more look, I'm going to try to go really fast. I'm going to start with my dollar store brush and set, well, no eyeshadow primer today, I don't feel like it. I'm going to use this one as a base, that one with the little sparkle running through it. Then I'm going to go in with this mauve taupe kind of shade with my BH Cosmetics brush with a 3 on it. It's actually kind of a lot. And I'm going to use that as my transition. Then I'm taking my IBY crease brush and I'm going to go into this I'm pretty sure it's a very dark green matte. That's going to be my crease shade. I'm just going to blend that out. Then I'm going to go in with this deep olive green. Ooh, that's very chunky. That may be too much, but I'm going to put that on the outer corners. Or outer third. I mean, it works out, but that one's kind of chunky, at least when you first put it on your finger. Then I'm going in with this gold green shade. This one is more slick. And I'm going to put that on the inner 2/3. And blend it in. I don't know if this is a good plan, but I'm going to mix this like beigey pink shimmer and I guess this one up here and see if I can make a brow bone highlight out of it on my dollar store brush. Honestly, I feel like the cream shade like overpowered the other one, which is probably better for me because that other one's really too dark for me. Then I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it and go into the silver. It's not picking up too well, but I'm going to put it across my lower, no. I want it across my lower lash line. I think I'm going to have to use my finger. That one's kind of sheer. Alright, this was a mistake. This one I think just needs to be across the lid with a glitter glue. I'm going to take my BH Cosmetics brush with a 5 on it just to put a little of this matte olive khaki color on the outer third. And then another, I don't know if this is a good idea or not idea, but I'm going to use my BH Cosmetics brush with a 6 on it and use this here as an inner corner highlight, just to do something different. Okay, so I'm going to try with my finger. That one's kind of like the silver one, even though it doesn't look like it in the pan. Yeah, okay, that's better. And then I'll just blend it out. Alright, here's the finished look. I like it, but I think I'm most disappointed with this one out of all of them, just because of how some of the shadows performed. But I wasn't wearing a primer, so maybe with a primer they would be better. So I'm going to talk and swatch at the same time. I don't know how I'm gonna fit all of these, but I don't know. Until today, I was pretty sure that I really liked the palette, and then with the shades that happened today, I don't know, I just feel like maybe I should have had a primer on, or maybe they're just a little thinner or a different texture, a little flakier or something. So I think definitely not all of the shades here are created equal. I think maybe some are supposed to be toppers. Some of the lighter mattes definitely need to be packed on. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with smaller swatches. I'm never gonna be able to fit everything. So I think, is this worth the $35? I don't know. Even though I feel like I'm a little biased, and I feel like so is everyone else, because like, say Too Faced for example, why am I so willing to pay $49 for less shadows, where most of these I was pretty happy with and there's more of them, but but I'm not even willing to pay the $35. So I would love to one day like have a couple eyeshadow palettes to like test and play around with, and I wish I didn't know like what brand they were. And then I could literally just test them, or rather rate them based on how I felt about them, not knowing the brand or anything else. Yeah, so I think you see here, I mean, you saw some on my eyes as well. Some are just better quality than others. As I'm swatching, I feel better about the palette again. It was mostly today's shades that didn't do as well. Ooh, there we go. And of course, you know, I would love to have a shimmery brow bone highlight, but that was apparently not in the cards for this palette. And I have to say, some of the ones I didn't get to use, I'm swatching now. I think they're really pretty, and they seem to have nice quality. Okay, just 4 more. These are terrible swatches. There we go. I think you can see all of them. So overall, I do like it. I need to play with it some more. Definitely some favorites are that one, that one, that one. That one was nice, even though it was more of a topper. That green olive in there. I mean, the pink was nice, purple, the green, teal. Yeah, so that is my long review. All right, that's it for today. I hope you have a good day no matter what it is you're doing. Bye. See you next time.